Hey everybody, welcome to this wonderful panel on Fear the Walking Dead. I am, of course, the Governor, your favorite one-eyed villain. And I have this crew of people here, and we're going to talk about this latest episode of Fear the Walking Dead called The Holden, which, happens after the Lovin', I think. But anyway, you are here because of the fear of the Walking Dead, and as are these fine people. So I'm going to go around, have everyone introduce themselves, and we'll start with Mr. Jack Come Lately, Mr. Group of Gamers himself. Tell us about yourself, Jack.
Hello, I'm Jack. I'm 24. I love the Walking Dead universe and every little part of it, even Daryl and Carol. I love making videos on it and talking about it. And that's pretty much it.
All right. Sarah, Mama.
Hi, I am Sarah, or Mama. Either is fine. I am part of the Reaction community, and I react to The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, and World Beyond, and Invincible. Make sure you go watch that. And you can also find me on Patreon and pretty much any other social media at Mama Deadhead.
Awesome. Michonne?
My name is Michonne, and since we're saying ages, I'm 25. Hi. I am a member of the Walking Dead community as well, and you can find all of the full uncut reactions on patreon.com/MichonneReacts.
Awesome. Jazz?
Hi, I'm Jazz. You will not get my age. And I do social media here at Wizard World.
All right, awesome. And as I said, they call me the Governor. I am with Fandom Spotlite. I am part of the Walking Dead community as well, doing reactions. And I even like Carol, not so much Daryl. He's a bit of a jerk, and he blew up my tank. And you're not getting my age, but my birthday is actually coming up this Sunday. But beating me out is Sarah, whose birthday is coming up this Saturday. So chief, so of course she is one day earlier, but many years later than my birth. So what can you do? All right. So we had a very interesting episode of Fear. And we had our infiltration pack, which, they are so subtle moving into that underground community. So let's get our impressions of this underground community. So, Jazz, what did you think of these mulchy people?
I'm still trying to figure them out, really, but I know they're up to no good. There's definitely something going on there, and it's not a good thing. So,
very true, very true. Sarah?
I am loving and hating it, mainly because I have no clue what's going to happen. And I thought that they were really, really compelling, but on the same note, also very annoying, because asking the same question over and over, I was like, what? One guy was like, can you see? And I'm like, no, not without my glasses. What are you talking about? So it's a lot. It was a lot to take in, especially everything that happened with Wes.
What do you see?
Nothing without
Sean,
my
what
glasses.
did you see? Sean, what did you see?
Well, my very first impression of the underground people are they're fucking weird. Like, as soon as we got down there to Vab, I was just like, nah, it ain't right down here. Like, they was all nice and friendly, and then they had the indoor garden, and I was like, okay, but they give me the creeps. They not right. And then they have a whole fucking room where they embalm people. So that confirmed my suspicion.
I will say that it reminded me a lot of Terminus from the original Walking Dead series.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it gave me big time Terminus vibes.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't eat the people that they don't like.
No,
In fact, they don't even let them
the
decompose.
vibe of it is,
Same thing.
Jack, your initial thoughts of the underground Enders the Beginners?
See, by the end of the episode, my view definitely changed. But I at first wanted to be hopeful, but we've learned in the Walking Dead universe that you should not be hopeful when meeting any group, because it always doesn't work out well for our people. But when I saw the homegrown crops, I was like, maybe it's not that bad. They're eating well. They're not struggling. So they might not be as desperate and doing terrible things. But then I got real culty vibes from it. And I almost got Get Out vibes as well. Like there's some parts later I'll bring up and talk about it, but there were some parts I was expecting like a flip of a switch to happen with personalities, but definitely was unsettling to say the least.
I would agree. I would definitely say Cult was right there because everyone was so smiling and, do you see like Teddy sees? And I'm like, Teddy Ruxpin? What the hell is Teddy Ruxpin doing?
I said the same thing.
It's like, but it was a lot of everyone's trying to see the same way. And later on when Wes found his brother and his brother was like, I could tell the brother had guzzled the Kool-Aid. He had freebased that Kool-Aid. It was just, coming out of his pores. So, yeah. My initial impression was these guys are a little off kilter. And then by the end, I knew exactly how off kilter they were. So we have STG TV. Says salute to all of y'all. So salute right back to you, STG TV. And Harry Horrocks says Teddy is 1 part Randall Flagg and 1 part Trash Can Man. So if you're not familiar with The Stand, are you talking about the original miniseries of The Stand? If you're going to go back and because then we got to bring in Matt Frewer, who was the original Trash Can Man. My life for you. Yeah, he was. Teddy is definitely a very charismatic cult leader, but I kind of knew we weren't going to see him until the very end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I absolutely. I was like, oh, we're just sitting here 5 minutes later. Yeah, we're not going to get John Glover until the very, very end. And It made me sad, but, it worked out the way it did.
I was almost worried initially that it was going to be like a walker or like a kid or like a plant or something. And it was just, I don't know. It was
the term plant could work. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it could.
Or it could have been a little bear that you put a tape in the back and,
That's literally what I thought whenever they were just like all waiting around the elevator. I'm like, this elevator is going to open and it's going to actually be a teddy bear. Like I just know it. Like it's just this all-knowing teddy bear that they worship. Weird.
I am the Ruxpin. Oh. Now,
count of how many times they said Teddy this episode. From the time we got off the elevator.
A weird amount.
Oh, him.
Yeah.
Did anybody actually do the count? That's what I want to know in the chat. Did anybody do the count?
No, I didn't.
Somebody should do a count.
Somebody should do the count and be like, they said, Teddy 328 times. Maybe that's a slight exaggeration, but yeah. Now, I think I figured it out, but did anyone else figure out why they call them posters? The dead posters?
No.
I don't understand why they said poster. And I'm like, okay, so is this reminding you of what's outside? Or like, if it's not really that, then I don't know what they mean. Because posters are supposed to be
compost.
Oh, okay.
When I saw the walkers grinding up, I was like, they're fucking making compost. But never once did I put posters together from compost.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I did not. I didn't come up with that on my own, I have to admit. I have a lovely lady here named May, who, while I'm doing the reaction, is like, compost. And I was like, so I actually had to modify my outro to incorporate that. But I do give her credit. She figured it out. I'm pretty sure it's because of the compost, but yeah, that's a very odd way of doing things. And, I do have to say, I didn't mind the fact that they were underground. They want to grind up Bitas, that's fine. If they want to take Bita bone meal, feed it to the chickens, fine. They want to, eat salads and quiche and, all that stuff. That's great. But if you didn't catch what Derek said, before they could begin down there, everything up there has to go.
Mm-hmm.
That is some fucked up thinking. It's not even like they're in a prison next door. It, you know, they could be far away. I mean, prison next door, I understand, but
if you're not there with them, you're literally going to be murdered.
Yeah.
I don't understand, but okay.
Like, are they planning to nuke everything? Because
no, we know they like.
That's the vibes I'm getting because of the key, and I was
want the key to the nuclear sub.
With Derek when after he heard Morgan's name, he asked Wes, he was like, "Where is it?" And I wasn't sure if he was talking about Morgan's community or if he understood that because Virginia's gone now, that something she had in her possession, the key from our friendly neighborhood bounty hunter, that he's trying to look for that. I wasn't sure if he meant the community or that, but either or, we can't be telling him either of those answers.
Yeah.
I didn't even catch that with the key. I'm happy you just said that.
I just figured he was talking about the community because I didn't.
I'm trying to figure out why everybody want Morgan so bad.
Well, if you remember, those two guys who, you know, were hanging out by the sub hunted down Morgan and they tried to kill him unsuccessfully because Morgan's a badass.
They
but
so bad,
you know, but they saw that he had the key. Now, what really gets me is if they hadn't tried to kill Morgan, they could have said, "Hi, we were supposed to work a deal with this bounty hunter, and he had a key that he was going to give us, and I see you have it. Could we trade you for it? Could we do something?" Maybe he would have been like, you know, all life is precious. Here you go. You know, he might have been, you know, very happy to give them the key. They could have survived. They'd all, you know, everyone would be dead within, you know, 1,000-mile radius now, but, you know.
Wait, so that means don't nobody know Morgan got the key because the only people that saw that he had it are dead.
Yeah.
But if they knew the bounty hunter had it, if Virginia found out that he was dead via Morgan, she would probably assume that Morgan acquired everything he did and maybe relayed that info to them because it sounded like they knew Virginia.
If they knew that those people, if the Emil had the key, and then they roll up on Morgan fully dressed like Emil with his like weapon and all, I think it's an easy jump to be like, oh, he has the key too.
I forget that's where he got the trick.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think Virginia gave them the information, but I think one of the spies probably learned from Virginia that Emil was killed by Morgan. That's why they went after. And when, you know, I don't think they would have jumped Morgan if they didn't see that he had the key. So they probably put it together that Morgan has the key. Now, what would have been awesome is if before this, Morgan said, you know, all these keys, you know, they're symbolic of Virginia. We're going to put them in this big fire and melt them down. Here's this one. And we'd have no problem from now on because he would have melted it down. They can't launch the missiles. Now, the thing is, there should not be enough missiles in that sub, which I don't know how it got there, to take out the whole world. You know, what I figure they're going to do is they're going to do a couple 100-mile radius, carpet bomb it with nuclear bombs. And anyone outside that, they might experience a nuclear winter, so they might, you know, have problems with that. But at least no one near them would actually be still alive, could not threaten them. They're way underground. No one's going to look for them, look for survivors in there. So if they're looking to disappear, but I don't think they can kill everybody on the surface. What, are they going to kill the people in Russia? I don't think there's automated systems ready to send missiles over to Russia if they detect a launch in the U.S. or something. So,
you know what was making me anxious during the episode is every time shit would hit the fan, I'm like, okay, how many people do they have? Are the people that's guarding just gonna drop everything and come beat our ass right with them? Like, I don't know how many people they had. I don't know if they fight. Mm-hmm. You know, every time shit was hitting the fan, you never saw the people, the regular people. You saw just them few men. Yeah. So that's making me so anxious. I'm like, oh, the shit they fighting, is everybody gonna run in there and beat our ass? So I don't know where all them other people went. I don't know how big the group is. I got more questions than answers.
Well, it was a parking garage, right?
Yeah. Well, I think it was a parking garage, and then they took the elevator down to like maintenance tunnels.
I was gonna say, because then it could be just might have been on a different floor, because my comments roasted the hell out of me because I was like, I was confused why they were, or not why, but I had a brain fart and I was confused how they were able to grow the plants underground with just heat lamps, because I thought, sun, photosynthesis, and I was like, it just was an immediate like, wonder. And I know that now. My comments made very clear to tell me that, and how stupid I was for not making that connection. But that was my like initial thought. I was like, I wonder how they're growing those underground. Well, that makes no sense. But it's clear now. But I feel like they may have different levels. Like they have the level with all the the plants and the cooking, and then they have like a residence level where they have everyone staying, and then they have like the creepy ass level with the embalming and like the secret walkers and shit. And
okay, yeah,
claustrophobic for me too watching this. I don't know why I felt like this the whole episode.
So do we know why they were like putting, what was it gasoline that they were sticking in them after taking out the blood?
No, it was embalming fluid.
Oh, just embalming fluid. Okay.
Yeah. They didn't want him to decay and become part of the cycle of life, which is a really fucking weird punishment, because it's like,
let's just
they're dead. They won't care.
Well, when Alicia just lit them all up, that's I guess what got me a little confused. So
there was a bit about that end that bothered me. I'll talk about that later, though.
And Deborah Ulmer said the food looked great. Yeah, they might have had it with just that, but it's always a cult, though. Phyllis says I think they're all insane to want to seal themselves underground and never go to the surface again. I think that is going to cause issues long term. Harry Orak says, remember what was in the first episode opening scene?
No.
And I'm trying to remember what was in that opening scene.
Was that the submarine? Is this like the end is the beginning?
Yeah. Well, what they were doing was they were painting, the end is the beginning. But we didn't see it was on a submarine, I think, until the end of the episode.
That is.
Oh, yeah.
But, that was in the first episode. It was there. We just didn't recognize it because it was too close. But yeah, they want to use those subs missiles to, seal themselves off from the world. And Teddy, when we finally meet him, seems like a relatively reasonable person.
Seems.
Oh yeah, great.
Like he was a psych professor or something.
Like somebody teaching.
Well, yeah, because he was definitely able to read Alicia very well and know how to respond to her to not completely set her off, because he was able to keep his demeanor fairly calm, except when he let it slip a bit when he was upset and raised his voice that she had just burned a bunch of their shit. But other than that, I think he might, I don't know if I wouldn't say sway her. I think she's going to play the long game, I hope, and try to slide in and be like, you know what, you might be right. But inside she's like, yeah, no, you're fucking crazy. But she's just going to kind of take it down from the inside.
How did they destroy like all their work? Because that doesn't make sense to me. They have a bunch of concrete, it's like she lit all that embalming fluid on fire, and maybe it burned out that room that they were in. Though apparently, Kree said, and the embalming guy ran out and they survived. But I don't see how it
they may be talking
destroyed all their other stuff, because how is a flame going to burn concrete to get over there to like destroy all their crops and stuff? So
they might just be mad about the bodies, honestly.
Yeah, I was now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, because
the room, it was either outside the room where the bodies were hanging, and then the room where they had their equipment at, and the room where they had their equipment at was still untouched. So they might be talking about the bodies, which is
well, it looked definitely like smoke damage. But
all the stuff was still there.
But all the stuff was still there and running.
Exactly.
It's just it's a weird thing.
Maybe it was more of like not a physical thing, but like they're like what they believe in. They say the end is the beginning, and like they want you to be important, like when you die. So that's why you're compost. So maybe by killing all of the people that they didn't want to be dead, super dead, I don't know. That's just like you ruined everything we believe in type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And why the hell didn't Alicia just drop the match and run out the door behind her? Come
Right?
on.
Yeah, that was definitely just done for dramatic effect.
Yeah, they
Like,
were talking. Her and Wes were talking. I'm like, dude, you could have been out by now. Why are you still talking? You could have been out by now.
They just wanted the symbolism of Madison too. I think that they wanted to give that, but that was about it.
Not you sacrificing yourself with a match fire like your mama, girl. Which I still think.
You know what's funny? The way that it dropped, my first thought was not Madison, it was Daniel. Oops.
It's been so long since that. I totally forgot how, like, the framing for that shot. I remember that it happened, but I totally forgot. My mind immediately went to Madison just because they had talked about her earlier too. But
I was like, she got to sacrifice herself like her mama, but it's okay. She still stabbed that dude in the neck and killed him. That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of idiot? You know, like Alicia's there. She just burnt a bunch of people. She's, been a problem. And there's two of them there. And he's like, prepare her. Leaves an unarmed guy in with Alicia. Does he think she's just going to be compliant?
These people are not fighters, is what I think. That's just what I think. Because that was a grown ass man and he was quite bigger than her.
I mean, he was able to Sparta kick her ass like halfway across the room. It didn't seem like they wanted to kill or harm her, though. It seemed like they wanted her for a very specific reason. And
she was about to be like this in that room, like everybody else. That's what she was about to be doing.
Well, that's what apparently the one guy, was it Randall or what was his name at the end? I'm trying to remember.
Randy, I think.
What was it?
I think Riley. It was Randy. Riley. Yeah, it was one of those R names.
Riley. Yeah, I just had to connect Buffy the Vampire Slayer to this show real quick to have that. But yeah, Riley, first of all, he left the one guy, but he was thinking, Alicia was going to be, turned into a embalmed, Vita. Mm-hmm. And then Teddy comes in and he's like, first of all, that stab into that head looked so fake.
It did.
And I had to comment on it. But then, he turns around and it's like, he tells Riley to leave. It's like, do you not think that Alicia can, kill you? You're a little older.
Just a little bit.
Well, I mean, he has a cult leader, so he probably just thinks he's the best thing on the planet. There's no, this girl isn't going to kill me. I'm going to lead her to the light. She's not going to kill me.
Literally.
Yeah.
I mean, he was also very good at talking. Like, whether Alicia was buying it or not, she could have just stabbed him, but she didn't.
Yeah.
And I think it was because even though she wasn't buying anything he was saying it convincingly enough and non-threatening enough that she felt that if he did start threatening her, she could very easily handle it, as we all know she could. But
he fucked up when he said, "Are you punishing yourself?" I was like, and he was like, "Are you following in someone's footsteps?" I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
So that's what she was like, "Get to the point," and he still didn't get to the point.
Yeah.
Well, he has this whole spiel that he has to say, so
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, we were waiting so long to see John Glover on screen. We had to give him time to just expound. And yeah, I mean, I think Alicia's also the type, if you're not actively attacking her, she's not going to necessarily actively attack you.
That is true.
Yeah.
So she wasn't going to kill this 75-year-old man,
Be like
without
killing
him
Daniel.
trying to get her,
Yeah, I'm curious to see how she play her cards with him. Either way it go, I know she gonna play it well. I just don't know how she gonna do it yet.
Yeah, her best friend Strand, she better have knowledge by now.
Facts. She learned something from Uncle Strand. Girl.
Who else loved? Did anyone else just love how quickly Dakota was shut down? Or was it just me?
I shut her down.
It reminded me of Rick shutting down Gabe in 601, where he's like, "I'd like to help," and Rick's like, "No, who else?" And it's just immediately shut down.
Appreciate what you've been doing. We ain't there yet.
Nah,
that was like the most polite way of saying that, though, and I loved it.
Honestly, though, I think that they should take her. I think they should take her, because if they don't take her, that she's going to do something crazy and it's going to be sabotaging whatever they're planning. So just take her with and be like, "Hey, we got a plan for you. Go over here," and it's a Walker pit. Problem solved.
I like that idea.
I
like that idea a lot.
Tie some cinder blocks to her ankles and be like, oh, it'll be a new biter aquarium.
No, what you do is you put some Kevlar vests on her, and then you use her as a shield. And they can then shoot at you. It's going to hurt her like hell eventually. Eventually, it'll penetrate the Kevlar, and then she'll be dead, which is fine. When she turns, you throw her at them, an extra weapon.
There you go.
It's all good. We are not the Dakota fan club.
No, we're not.
I'm not really. I'm almost nobody.
Charlie, there could be a case made for it. Maybe not for everybody, but if we had to pick one to keep alive, I'm pretty sure most would keep Charlie alive and not Dakota.
Out of everybody that was in this episode, I would probably say I like Morgan and Luciana. They're my two people. Danny wasn't in this episode. Just people that's in this episode. Okay, let me count non-Walking Dead people. Luciana. It's pretty much it.
I'm glad they're at least finally giving her some screen time because I'm trying to think. I'm like, what did she do the last season and a half? But now they're making her right up there with everyone else and like fighting for everybody. And I'm like, yes, that's what she's been there long enough that she should be doing that at this point.
Now we know that they were showing Wes so much because of the lead up to his brother. They were showing Wes so much. I was like, they finna kill this nigga. He getting too much.
They always do. They start like leading up. They're like, oh, here's some backstory. You really like this guy? Too bad.
Yeah,
bam.
Exactly.
I thought Wes was gonna die, but at least it's because we met his brother. So
a mischief maker.
When they reconnected, I knew one of them was going to be toast. Like I was like, oh, that's nice. One of you will be dead by the end of this episode. And what a way to go! What a way to go!
At least we kept Wes.
Yeah, Mischief Maker said hello, and Dakota needs to never talk again.
Please.
I'm good with that. And Phyllis says Dakota should have went with Strand. That would have been fun.
Oh my God, that would have been hilarious.
Because he would fuck with no shit.
No.
My thought though, I kind of saw that biter, with all the plants growing out of it, was going to bite somebody at some point in the episode. I thought that was like obvious pretty much every time they showed it. And I figured it when, Wes and Derek were there, I figured it was going to be Derek. I just am very disappointed that Wes wasted a bullet shooting his brother in the head when he could have left him there, let him turn, let him be a distraction. It's like, sheesh. And he would have also not alerted anybody in that room to him having a gun.
Screaming the entire time. When he finally got on his brother, I was like, so you're going to waste a bullet and make sure.
Yeah.
See, I didn't get as mad about initially I did, but Fear's a bit behind where we are. So they're not as strapped for bullets as we are. So they seem to be using them a little more recklessly than we are right now. Whereas like in the main timeline, we're pretty much out and ran out of scrap metal to make bullets. But I think it was also a respect and love and mercy that like you didn't want to, because for a lot of people turning is a terrible thing. Like Andrea didn't want to just leave Amy to turn, and most people want to put their loved one out if they can. And I think the gunshot almost helped him take advantage of the other ones because they were expecting to leave that room and go find him, but he was waiting right there, whereas he would have had to try to open the door and ambush them. The dude literally ran right into his arms. I feel like it worked out, but they definitely wrote it to work out. It could have not worked out.
Yeah.
But
Also, I can totally forgive it because while I was like you guys, I was like, oh my God, please don't shoot because everybody's going to know. It's forgivable because he got his backpack. That makes it up for me. He grabbed his backpack with all the maps and plans in it. So
see, I totally missed that. I'm glad that he did, though. I'm glad he did that.
Yeah, like he could have stabbed him and kept the bullet for somebody else because you could have been sneaky with it and they would.
I mean, I'm with Jack though. It was the dude's brother. So
yeah,
it was a mercy kill. He wasn't gonna leave like that.
I understand the mercy kill, but still, I was like,
logically, it was a stupid move, but
logically,
considering who it was,
I'm a mercy kill my brother and just risk my life and everybody else's that's down here.
But then he grabs Crease Face, the guy with the brow that just does not stop furrowing, and I'm sorry, Riley, and he grabs Riley,
Wi-Fi head ass.
Yeah. And why does, when they go into the other room, does he push him back? He should have kept him as a hostage.
Same thing. I was like, what? There were so many decisions made, and I'm like, how long have y'all been living in the apocalypse?
It's like, you guys really need to up your game. You know, it's like you don't get rid of the hostage.
Mm-hmm. Like he started off good, but at least he kept the book bag. Oh, can we please get to Althea and her girl? Because y'all, soon as I saw that CRM in that room, I said, "Girl, you better lift that man up. I need to see." Oh my goodness! Every time
I loved the way that scene unfolded.
Oh, that
like the terror, like when it tore its lips and immediately on beat with the music, she immediately stabbed it. I'm like, yes, because normally it would have been like, oh no, but no, she was just bam, just oh. And I love the way that they're developing Al and Dwight.
I love them.
Love it so
much.
It really, it's been subtle so far, but I like the bits they're throwing in there. Like I feel like there's going to be some point where they're separated for a while and then they end up reconnecting, and it's going to be like more emotional than when he and Sherry reconnected and was like, oh yeah, but now we're like, yeah, fuck Sherry. Now they're going to get back and be like, oh, you two are the best.
They're like,
oh man.
Also, it makes me think about like there's always a lot of talk about like who is going to survive the season on like pretty much any show that you watch. I feel like Althea is like pretty safe because she's the only person that actually knows about CRM, and how are they going to decipher like all this stuff if she's not there? Like she's not in the show. Because that would just die with her.
And I feel like the tapes are going to play a bigger part at some point, because we have some tapes that we got to see still, like the Abe Eugene one, and we're pretty sure Daniel has one too. So I there's got to be something to do with that at some point.
That I don't worry about during the episode. She feels pretty solid to me.
Yeah.
That would make no sense. It would not serve the story to kill her.
Well, I don't think that necessarily, though. I mean, Al's girlfriend, what was it, Isabel?
Isabel, yeah.
Might not be a monster, but we've seen the world beyond. We know what the CRM people are up to. We know that if they get in touch with the CRM people and say, hey, these people are trying to do everyone dirty, they may take care of them, and then they're going to turn right around and try to wipe out Morgan's community.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing we didn't think about is their plan could have something to do with CRM, because they have all their maps and all their plans. So they could have some outpost somewhere with like something crazy, because they have like so much.
Dun, dun, dun.
Well, the CRM people may be one of the reasons why the underground people. Do we have a name for the group? The Holders? I don't know.
That's what they're going to be, because I ain't like that other name.
Yeah, the underground people. Maybe they kind of know what CRM is up to, and maybe that's why they want to kill everybody, because they figure CRM's going to come out on top.
I don't know.
Mischief. Wait, we got a few things. Deborah says, I love that they gave Wes more of a story. And I definitely, I mean, I wasn't sure why they were giving him more of a story, but, you know, and he used a term that we haven't used yet, eater, for a beta.
I like that term, actually.
Eater makes sense. It's kind of like bita. So, you know, even Virginia came up with, or not Virginia, Dakota said Champa. Champa makes sense. All better than poster. Yeah. Well,
it's another name for walkers. I can't think of it right now, but we've used
biter.
What you say?
Geek, lame brain.
We've used biters before too.
Walker is my favorite. Biters was the governor. That's my second favorite. It's another one we've heard. I don't even remember what show.
Rados, Romas,
Geeks, lame brains.
The past.
I know when I hear it. It's another one that's real good, and I'm mad I can't think of it.
I have a list.
What, Daniel's?
You have a list? Oh, I love that.
Sombres?
No, we've had some.
Muertos?
This one more that's real good.
Javi and Clem?
Hold on 1 second. Let me bring up.
I love the fact that you have a list.
I've got a list too here.
Well, in actuality, what I did, in my thing, it's like I found a list of all of them. So tell me if it's one of these.
Okay.
Bitas, walkers, geeks, lurkers, empties, creepers, romas, radas, rippers, growlers, deadheads, stinkers, floaters, Hisses, Cold Bodies, the Infected, Lame Brains, the Wasted, the Past, Champas, and Eaters.
At least 3 of those I do not remember hearing.
They were like used
Rara?
once or
Pretty
twice.
sure it's in the universe, right?
Now, what does Magda and her crew, what do they call the dead? Because they call them something different. Luke and all them.
I don't know what they call them. I can't think of it off the top of my head.
I think it was like rotters or something, but
I think they say freaks. Do they say freaks, or am I making that up?
I'm not sure. But none of those ring a bell because that's like a pretty comprehensive list of all the things that they've been called.
I'm mad I can't think of it. Ignore me. I'll let y'all know one day when I hear it again. I'm so mad I can't think of it right now.
Well, that's fine. So we have a couple more comments from the Peanut Gallery. Mischief Maker says, does anyone else think Isabel will come back in the finale to take Al and anyone else?
They streamed
like
this
they've been waiting for that.
They better see her again.
Yeah, she's going to be back at some point.
Iraqi Monster says, well, hello there, and I thought the governor died.
Oh, the disrespect.
Do I look dead? Probably.
Yeah,
That's all right.
Literally the second best name for walkers. It is.
It is. Yep.
Yeah. And we also got, Mr. Finker said we got Empties on the World Beyond. That was in my list. That was like number 5. Empties. Yeah. But I'm trying to remember if Magna and if they had some different name.
They did. Sickos.
Sickos. Damn, I missed one. I'm adding it to my list right now.
That's a good one too.
That is a good one.
That's a good one.
Damn it, Google failed me.
That's still one more I can't think
I
of.
wonder how many people are in my comments saying, sickos, you missed that one. Because, yeah, I admit.
There's been a lot of different names, so it's easy to miss ones that only come up once or twice.
And some we've only ever heard like come out of somebody's mouth like maybe once or twice. They dead now. Like
Lame Brains we heard with
the guy from True Blood.
back with the bar with Herschel and everything. And the only reason I know that is because someone that just started reacting to the show watched that episode recently. And I'm like, I remember that one. But other than that, yeah, it's the Honest trailers, I think, also made a compilation of all the different names that they called them, and then ended it out with Maggie saying, I call her mom. And I was like, okay.
Oh, okay.
I want in the very last episode someone to say, why don't we just call them zombies? That would be like the very last episode.
Everything but the Z word.
It's like they just never had, apparently they never had any Rob Zombie movies. They never had any Night of the Living Dead movies.
They're not a zombie things aren't a thing.
See, in Z Nation, they call them zombies, but Z Nation, they also make a couple calls to, or not calls, references to this show. Like in their pilot, they reference Puppies and Kittens, which they do, which I thought was kind of cool, but they just immediately call them zombies. They're like, yeah, we know what this is. And it does ruin a bit of the, like, I wonder what's going on, because then everybody kind of knows what's going on, and it's fun seeing people figure it out. But I know that's also a point of frustration among the fandom with the newer show, like with Fear and World Beyond. People are like, why don't they understand it yet? It's like, because they haven't come across these yet. And they're like, you should understand. They're just so heated about it. And it's like, come on.
I'll be like, we're going into some Rick right there for a second. It was awesome.
My thing is, I'm one of those people that be mad and it's like, you don't have to understand. It's trying to eat your face. Can you just stab it, please?
Exactly.
Like, I can't.
Well, I have a feeling if in this world, there was a bunch of zombies, everyone pretty much knows at this point, go for the head. So,
thank you.
Yeah.
I don't think a zombie apocalypse would take hold very quickly and easily in this world. In fact, it makes me a little worried when you see like these prank things where a bunch of people dress up like biters and they go off to a park and then they rush some people. and I'm waiting for somebody with a carry permit to go.
Yeah,
bam, right in the head.
And then that goes from a YouTube prank video to a lively video real quick.
Exactly.
It's like, you know, if I actually thought, so that's the only thing that would stop someone from shooting someone in the head as a zombie is, wait, you can't be real. But, you know, then the zombie might get close enough. But if they pulled out a gun and pointed at their head,
like, whoa,
the zombie was like, whoa, wait, man, this is just makeup. Oh, dude.
Right.
You know, that would change the mind real quick. Mischief Maker also just remembered that the Magnus group called them sickos. So, yes.
Confirmation.
That is one on the list. But yeah, posters. Yeah, I don't like posters.
I don't
consider them compost.
The one in the middle is a poster, literally, that they have there with all the greenery growing through it. That is disgusting.
I mean, I can't imagine the soil being healthy for when you're using them as compost.
I mean, it's not like
everything.
To be fair, yeah, we're all, or I say we, like we're in the show. They're all infected technically, so it's not like they're directly eating the rot. It's like when people started naturally fertilizing stuff, it's not like they were actually eating the fertilizer or like manure or like whatever they were using for it. It's just using to beef up. Yeah.
It's not shit anymore.
But like thinking about the fact that it's being used for that does make it a little bit tougher to eat it because you're like, is it going to be like that? Or what if it has like a phantom taste of it? Like you don't want to be thinking like that, but.
Yeah. And unfortunately, the Terminus crew got all red macheted far before we figured out if eating infected meat, cooked or not, would actually affect them. We know that getting the gore, you know, on some kind of spear or something and getting sliced with that will eventually turn you. But
they've been kind of inconsistent though. Now that I think back on it though, with some of the, because we had a lot of scenes
inconsistency. You're kidding.
Right. No. Wait. This is the only thing that got on my nerves. How did Gamma get slit in her hand after stabbing that walker a million times and not turn? How?
She's been living pretty grimy for a while, so
split her hand open. Like that's worse than getting bit. I'm talking about right into your bloodstream, girl.
Yeah,
that's
like the thing with. Yeah, like Abe got slashed by Sasha after she was killing walkers, and he seemed to be fine. And then there was the one time Rick put the gun through the walker's throat and shot it, and it just exploded on his face into his mouth, and he was fine. And then everybody's done the gut trick.
His knife broke, and he cut himself, stabbing a biter in the head, and you could see that he was bleeding, and it was wrinkling with the guts. So yeah, it is very inconsistent.
Maybe it's also scene or pouring alcohol on the wound. It's a deleted scene, apparently.
Well, what about like Jack? You just said that like everyone's infected. So like in theory, when like Morgan sliced the guy's stomach open and guts fell all over him, and like Rick bit out someone's throat, like shouldn't.
But Rick is the one that did the biting, so I don't know.
And that's something I think they've intentionally shied away from the science of it because people that are hardcore fans of the show would probably start trying to dig into it and find even more inconsistencies and try to make a whole YouTube series out of it. Like, oh, these are all the plot holes in The Walking Dead. It's like, just enjoy the ride, man. Like,
I'll pop up tomorrow.
I know.
We'll find out on YouTube tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, they already have articles about everything that doesn't make sense in The Walking Dead.
With the throat bite, though, he wasn't like, okay, I get what you're saying. Like, because we're all infected. But okay, I was just thinking because he wasn't a walker yet. So
I'm just confused. I'm just confused.
There's a lot of. I mean, we say it's inconsistent, but it might not be because it might just be it could just be an immune system thing. Some people have better immune systems, and I think it would be interesting if the show.
Immune system.
Oh yes, he does.
Oh yes, he does.
Well, when you get bit by a biter, it's not the virus that's killing you. it's how septic and infected that bite gets.
Yeah.
So it's like there was actually, I've seen some shows where they've talked about how a human being biting someone is more, filled with germs and such, more than say a dog biting you, unless it's, of course, it's rabid. But so if we consider like the biters, when they bite you, that's not necessarily killing you. And if they're giving you any more virus, maybe there's a certain level that once you reach, you start to turn. But it's really the disgusting nature of the bite that gets infected. And apparently...
Isn't maybe like something activates whenever you actually die?
Something flips some kind of switch where, girl, like how they say we all have different cancer cells and just something make them switch and that's how people get cancer. Like,
but then some
interesting.
People get, like, their stuff, like they get bit and then the leg gets cut off and they're fine. Does the activation take some time? How long do you have between, getting bit? I mean, Tyrese, obviously, they waited far too long to cut off.
He also got bit twice, so.
Yeah.
If it wasn't infected the first time, the second time.
Hey, we know Jim went almost 2 days in the beginning, but so it depends on everybody. So
that was also like through a shirt. Same with Carl, but I think it'd be very interesting.
Literally turned in like 5 minutes.
Who turned in 5 minutes?
John Dory.
Yeah, it does seem like it's inconsistent with how long someone has to be dead before they turn.
Because Jenner did say that, though.
Yeah,
he said that they saw it in as little as, I think, like 4 to 8 minutes, and then the longest was like 12 hours or something. It was something. It was some very wide time frame, and I think it'd be very interesting if by the end of the series they may not find a way to stop people from turning, but maybe they find a way to deal with bites so that like if someone gets bit or whatever, they're able to stop the infection there. But no matter what, if people die, they still turn. I think it'd be interesting if they were able to kind of combat maybe part of it, but not. And that's like how they end up building society back up, is they're able to kind of manage that, but maybe not like the stuff that CRM's doing. I think they're like working to find I'm assuming some type of blood or someone's blood that is able to fight it or something.
Mm-hmm.
I did like what they were doing on the World Beyond with like terminal people, putting them in a place where if they did turn, if they did die, they couldn't get out and threaten the community.
You know what the governor did though too at his place with that old man and
with Milton, how they were.
I was just thinking about Milton. Still to this day, Milton got my favorite like anti-walker thing. Put some fucking duct tape on, like simple.
Yeah, like seeing Daryl and Ty running around with like no sleeves on. I'm like,
simple.
No one would actually be running around.
I mean, to be fair, right now for sure.
It's Georgia, so it's
hot as hell.
115 degrees down there in the sun. So I understand like not wanting to, because if you pass out from heat exhaustion, you're done. Like they'll just eat you. Whereas like if you're sweating, you could at least try to evade them and be cooled down at the same time. So
they're in Virginia now, so
Yeah,
not that much different. But if you remember during the all-out war with the Saviors, Rick's people killed a bunch of Saviors and then waited for them to turn. Mm-hmm. And it's like, and they all seem to turn around the same time. So I think the consistency of the time, it takes someone, it's basically they turn at the speed of plot. Is pretty much it. So whatever the plot requires.
Facts. That's the best answer. Let's leave it at that. That's the best answer I heard. The speed of plot.
They turn at the speed of plot. All right, let's see. Do we have anything else? We got a few more comments here. Somebody who's calling themselves a governor says if they chop the leg fast enough, the infected blood won't reach the heart. And then says, and if it does, it spreads everywhere. So once it hits the heart, it's over.
True. I'm still thinking about how that stab that y'all was talking about looks so fake. Stabs are so satisfying in the show, and that was the least satisfying stab I've ever seen in the history of Walking Dead. Like, it just didn't do it for me. The penetration was not it.
100%.
It was so not satisfying at all.
Well, I have to think that what they used for, he basically had a handle.
Mm-hmm.
The guy's 75 years old, and he had to do the stab. That was probably the best take.
It was just so fast.
Yeah.
It wasn't smooth. It didn't do the gush noise, nothing.
No. To be fair, if you look back at the earlier seasons, they're pretty rough and the tracking's pretty rough. So it's not the worst we've had, but considering how good things have been lately, it was a little rough. Could have been better.
Sorry, John. I'll have to send him a message later. Sorry, your stab was considered the worst of the season.
We've been spoiled for sure.
And then look at Alicia's stab. Her stab was so good with that thing in the dude's neck. It looked real, and the blood just flew right out into the machine because the machine was already on.
Yeah, sucks to be him or sucked him.
Like, this will be easy. Don't fight. He really thought he was just about to walk up to that girl and kill her. Like,
that's what I was like, did he not see that she had her hand behind her back, or was he just being nice? Because like, he didn't immediately lunge at her with a weapon. He was like, do you want to comply and be killed comfortably, or
just get on the table, I'll strap you down, suck out all your blood.
That's why they blow shit up, because they can't fight. I'm telling you, these people do not fight.
I wonder if the nuclear stuff had anything to do with the plant around the time that we met Grace.
Wait, wasn't there no. She said she was the one that blocked everything off, because I was like, for a second I was like,
she says she was, but was she?
Maybe she didn't do all of what we saw, because it was a lot.
No, pretty much everybody at her job was dead. She was the only person that was still alive.
Yeah.
I think she had time to do it. And I know a lot of people are thinking that her and Charlie, and I addressed this at the beginning of my reaction, they're thinking that her and Charlie are lying because they don't want to believe Daniel has a mental problem.
I thought that at first, but when Daniel kept talking, I'm like, damn, he lived one hell of a life. He is a little fucked up. It's okay.
Well, that's why.
Grace is in labor and she's having contractions. She does not have time for all that mess. Charlie, maybe, but not Grace. She's full on about to
and you could tell she was like, I don't want to say this. I don't want to contradict Daniel. She was like,
yeah,
this is painful for her. But
Charlie is like,
the icing on the cake was that he circled it multiple times on the map and was like, yeah, this is where to go. And then afterwards he's like, no, we haven't explored that yet. And they're like, see, you said to go there though.
Exactly.
Ah, man.
Yeah, he was just with those two. The reason they structured the story so he was telling it to June was so they could throw us that red herring, so we could hear him say it to go to the fishing shack, but that was him relating the story. It wasn't what actually happened. So it was that's how they got away with it.
Birth.
What?
Yeah, I think we're gonna get to see Grace give birth. They don't always show us the babies.
They're probably gonna cheap out and time jump it or some crap, or they're just gonna break our hearts and not have it pan out the way we want, which I'm hoping that's at the bottom of my list of things I want right now. But baby delivering in the show has not ever really gone well when it's on screen. Most of the successful ones were just off screen. They had birth and it was fine. Don't worry about it.
Well,
Rosita and Maggie,
I'm just saying that this next episode, they've put promo pictures and it looks like it's a Grace episode. It's airing on Mother's Day, and I swear.
Oh,
I swear.
It's not.
It's airing on Mother's Day.
Oh, no.
I didn't even think about this.
Sarah, you just saw the promo pictures, right? You didn't see the actual promo?
Yeah, no, I haven't seen the promo, just the pictures.
Okay, then we won't talk about the promo, but...
Oh.
Yeah.
Shit, that's all I have to say.
Don't look at any of your screener friends' Twitter profiles, because they gave emoji reactions and you don't want to.
Oh no, I've seen the review reactions. I'm not ready. I'm not ready for it.
I already know that you're not, but hopefully the large amount of love that you're going to get from Athena will compensate for any potential pain or suffering that you may receive as a result of this episode.
Oh my God, she's
why would they build Grace up so much and hurt in this child just to murder this baby? Please don't do this. Please give us something. That's all I gotta say. And I'm curious, I want to see the baby too, because I'm like, oh, okay, so that's what her coworker looked like.
I mean, we'll see if they cast it that well, but I swear there's a subgroup of people. Like, I know I love the comics and I love when they have parallels to the comics, but there's some that have like a weird adoration for like the super sick and fucked up parts of the comics. They're like, remember Rosita? Yeah, what if that happens with Grace? I'm like, why would you say that?
Exactly.
I don't want that. Or not Rosita, Lori. And I'm like, either Rosita or Lori. I'm like, stop. I don't want to think about that. No.
We don't want to see a really big bellied Bida walking away.
Or the like the I don't want any of that.
That is different. Let's leave it different. I don't want to know. I don't want.
Yeah, the show has drastically toned down how dark it is. Mashan, I know you know that firsthand with how recent you are with the comics.
All right. Well, we are just about out of time. So how about some final thoughts and shameless self-promotion? Sarah, start us off.
I'm not ready for the next episode. This one was great. I think I'm just going to rewatch this one and pretend the next one isn't going to happen per reviews. I've decided it's not canon for me. But you can find me everywhere at Mom and Deadhead. If you want some interesting content, I would definitely subscribe to the $1 tier on my Patreon, because this week for my birthday and Mother's Day, my husband is taking me to a haunted hotel in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and I'm going to get to see everything Mothman, and there's going to be so many pictures, and I am going, this might be weird for those that don't have any context. There's a big silver statue in the middle of Point Pleasant that is the Mothman, and it has an actual full butt. I'm going to touch it. So, got pictures of that too.
You better get a selfie of that.
Instagram.
Oh, I am. They literally sell stickers that say like, I went to Point Pleasant to touch the shiny hiney. And I'm like, I'm gonna get one. Touching it. There will be pictures. So if you want to see that, Patreon.
All right, Jazz.
All right. Well, I'm Jazz. You can find me at Wizard World or on my personal Instagram account, Jazzy Diva with 3 Z's, I guess. And,
right.
I'm not really, I have mixed feelings about this next episode now that I know what day it's on and all of that stuff. Great. So
it's on my birthday. Jack.
It's going to be a tough one.
Wear a birthday hat.
Oh, you better wear a birthday hat. I'm Jack. You can find me pretty much everywhere. Group of Gamers Inc. 194. I have started watching Invincible, and I have the uncuts of those on my Patreon. I'm going to get them on YouTube as soon as I can, but I'm a big fan of that show already after just one episode. And I was really excited about the next episode of Fear, but now knowing it's on Mother's Day, I might not be. I'm kind of nervous now. So, yeah, I'm going to just go into it with good vibes, maybe a cupcake or something, and just kind of hope all goes well.
All right, Mashan.
Yes, my name is Mashan. As far as Fear goes, I just want a little bit of closure for this next episode. I don't know if these people was with Virginia, against Virginia, with themselves, with somebody else. I don't understand the motive, the agenda. I don't understand what they want exactly. So I want a little bit of closure next week. And you can find all of my content on patreon.com/MashanReacts. I binged the whole first season of Invincible. All 8 of those reactions going to be up this week. That's all going to be up there. Yeah, all the good stuff on there. All the good stuff is on there.
All right. And yeah, I'm actually looking forward to seeing what happens this episode, because it looks like I've seen a little bit of stuff, and it's going to be quite interesting. And I have it on good authority from the gentleman that we're going to have as a special guest next week. We're going to have Mr. Mark Simon, who is the storyboard editor for many, many shows, including all 3 of the Walking Dead universe shows. So he started on Fear Season 6, Episode 12. So this is the first one that he storyboarded out. And he says it's going to get bigger and crazier from here on in. So it's going to be something.
I'll pass.
So we will have a special guest next week. You can find me on fandomspotlight.com at Fandom Spotlight. You can also go to YouTube and you can see my reactions to Fear. You can also see we have a bunch of other live streams. Tomorrow we have a live stream on supercharging Superman, bringing him back in the non-Henry Cavill way into the modern era, the Christopher Reeve style. So we have a very interesting panel going on tomorrow with a special comic book artist guest. And check us out on fandomspotlight.com. There's all kinds of stuff coming down. That's pretty much it. We will see everyone next week. And there will be all kinds of crazy stuff, I'm sure, happening on Fear. Sarah, you're going to actually watch the actual episode. You're not going to like it, but you're going to watch it.
Yeah.
Obviously. Or else no one's going to watch our reaction to the same episode twice. But we will see everyone next week. Thanks for tuning in. And again, visit wizardworld.com. Check out all the upcoming panels. Until next time, Governor and his crew out. Bye, guys.
This is John Glover, and you are watching Fandom Spotlight. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Lionel Luther recommends it. Have some fun. Follow your fandom.